G'day legends, welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Tape. So it has been a bit of a while. It's been hectic. We have been up in Awaba last week shooting with Grant Allen and Renee Junga for the Adaptive Nationals, which was amazing. Gonna have some content coming out of that soon, and yeah, amazing trip. So yeah, well worth the delay for this end. We will be trying to get back to normal scheduling, but as everyone is hectic at the moment, it's been a bit difficult, so bear with us. Anyway, we've got an episode. It's sick. It's with one of our favorites, Sian A'Hern. But before we jump into that one, let me thank our sponsors. First up, we've got Trek Bikes. Man, I'm absolutely loving my Fuel EX. Can't get me off it. Need an e-bike for shooting, but man, this thing absolutely rips, frothing it. Frank Mountain Bike Apparel just released their new gear a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely amazing. I've still got my OG gear because the stuff never dies. And if you want to get amazing kit for an amazing value, use Beyond the Tape at the checkout. Get yourself a bit of a discount. It's rad. Shred Bike Care, keeping my bike clean. The degreaser is second to none. Absolutely froth that stuff. Been using it a while, gets all my stuff off, and yeah, relube it up. Again, use Beyond the Tape at the checkout for 20% off any of their stuff, which is rad. Fist Handwear. For those tech heads and work people even on the shovel like myself, Fist Handwear have just released their new work gloves. Absolutely amazing looking work gloves. Bit different to the usual black. Definitely hit them up, get some freshies. Amazing. Lead Out Sports, still providing everyone with the best tools and components on the market. My Unite pedals are still the most comfortable, most grippy things ever. Capped Out caps are keeping my stem looking good and keeping my handlebars attached to my forks, which is quite nice. And then, yeah, Oakley, Australia, keeping my eyes protected. I like my eyes and like to protect them with the best. Thanks so much to our supporters for supporting Poggy, especially over the last couple of months because times have been tough. Anyway, enough of that shenanigans. This episode's rad. We just have a quick catch up with Sian, talk about a year gone and her year coming up with the YT mob. As per usual, grab a beer, grab a water, grab a wine, grab whatever makes you happy, and enjoy the potty.
That was a hard work.
There we go.
Oh, he's recording.
It's like the first thing I do every now. Because it's just,
hey, at least we went through that, and it makes you better.
You want to jump straight in there?
Let's do it.
Yeah, Sian, welcome back for pretty much your yearly podcast. What's going on?
Our little checkup, our annual greeting. Love that.
Yeah, I think it was like around this time last year, maybe a bit earlier, just before Nationals. Yeah, we're just going to do a once-a-year podcast, just check in, see where we're at. See what's happening. Well, every year is kind of different, right? Yeah, big leaps and bounds every year. So it's pretty interesting.
Pretty crazy how much a year changes, like either you as a person or what you get up to. It's insane. Like, yeah, every year I kind of look back and go, gosh, I did that all last year? Insane.
Well, last time we chatted, like you just signed for the YT team, I believe. Yeah,
YT mob. Yeah. Definitely crazy. It feels like it was much longer ago than a year, but yeah, definitely last year I signed up with them, so it's pretty awesome.
How was it kind of sliding into that team and getting everything started?
Yeah, it was like definitely an adjustment for me because I guess being a privateer up until that point was, interesting. I don't know, I definitely didn't know what to expect, so I had a pretty open mind going into the year. But it was really good. Like, they're such a great bunch of people and so supportive overall. Like, I don't know, they were with me for the whole thing, like all the ups, the downs and everything. And I think they just supported me the whole time, which really unreal, to be honest. And they I don't know, I just gelled in really well with them. Like, my mechanic was unreal, my team manager, great, and just the whole brand, everyone. And yeah, O'Sheen, my teammate at the time, he was unreal. And going into another year with them is really exciting. And I think I really found my feet with the team, and I feel like they're just part of my family now. So.
What was your mechanic's name again? I'm just struggling to...
Patrick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What you going to do on Instagram?
I was just trying to find him so I can remember his name, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
What's it been like working with him and having your own mechanic and someone to
Honestly,
drive
yeah,
around?
like definitely having my own mechanic has been unreal. Yeah, just having someone that you trust and work really closely with is really cool. And Patrick and I work really well together. Like my team saw that last year, and yeah, I guess it's really cool. Now we're working together now for this year coming, and yeah, it's just nice. Like I feel like I have so much trust in him, and we know how each other works and how our personalities are, and I think that's really important to have that. Moving forward, having that trust and that open relationship, being able to speak to each other, and not just about the bike, about everything, because they're like the person that's closest to you for a whole year. So
Mm.
yeah,
Was it kind of odd because you're such a family orientated person? Was it kind of odd being over there for like 3 or 4 months at least without seeing your
yeah.
family? And then,
It was actually 7.5 months away from my family, and I was over there for 7.5 months. So it was like a long time. And yeah, I was quite homesick by the end of it. I remember like Snowshoe World Cup, I was just like going down on the track walk, and my team manager was with me, and I was just in tears, like, I just want to go home. I miss home. And like, it was really hard to race. Like, I just wanted the comfort of home. And especially when things became stressful at the races, all I would want to do was go home. And I think it was just like that comfort of like, wanting, I don't know, that safe place really. And yeah, I think I just missed the routine of home. And I think that was only just because I was so anxious about racing again that's all I really wanted. But it was really cool. My mum came over and surprised me about just at the end of the year, pretty much. And that really helped a lot, just having her around and just having some sense of home and something different, I guess, to shake up the year. So that really helped. Yeah, it was good, definitely. But I think it's something I've grown past, and I feel like I've grown up a lot as an individual, not just about my racing. But yeah, having time away from the family made me realize how much I appreciate them and how much I do love them. But yeah, I'm definitely a big family person. So yeah, it was tricky, but those challenges were kind of cool to face and deal with now moving forward, how to deal with them better.
was it kind of like the longest you've been away from your family, or the longest?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I'd been more than like a month away from them. Maybe even that's a stretch. I honestly think maybe 2 weeks. Like I had not had any time away from them, so that was really, really a big wake up call to be away from them for that long. But it was a great experience for sure.
And then throw in different languages, different culture, different
I'm
everything.
lucky I have the team. You know, I even O'Sheen, I know through the whole year he was just laughing at me, going, "Oh, Aussie goes abroad," just like laughing at me, all the carnage that I'd get up to because I had no idea what I was doing sometimes. But hey, we learn, we learn.
um, what was it like? Like obviously last time we spoke, I think you'd just been to team camp with O'Sheen and stuff. But how
Yeah.
was the year with him? Like it seemed like the team just kept gelling more and more throughout the year.
I feel like him and I don't know, we have a really cool relationship and I really value it. I value him as a person and our relationship we have. And I feel like he's like a little brother to me. I'd like to think I'm like a big sister to him, but I don't know. I'll leave that up to him to answer. But yeah, I don't know. I really love what we have, and it's kind of like a cool dynamic, and the team sees that as well. Like, and even when we're just riding together and things are good, it's great. Yeah, and just the time we have when we are together, it's always just a laugh, or we're always joking around or mucking around together, and that kind of dynamic is cool because it's just fun and it kind of brings me down to earth, and I'm just stoked to be around him always.
And he's been on YT for a long time, like since
Yeah.
Martin Widely discovered him. So
Yeah, long time. So yeah, he really knew kind of the dynamics of everything, and he was quite comfortable. So it was nice to kind of have that base in the team for me to then come into it. So it was cool. I don't know, learning O'Shea's ways, good or bad, I don't know, but they're good.
what was the biggest like culture shock? Like I guess after the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just nothing really was a big shock. I feel like it was all pretty. I don't know. When you have a great team around you, everything feels a lot easier. They have your back whenever you need it, and they also just are there supporting you. And I don't know, they're just there to make your life easy, really. So, I feel like they had all the hard parts covered. So I just had to race my bike and deal with whatever was going on inside my own head, really.
Was that? Do you think that was like the biggest difference between, I guess, privateering it and then going over with the team? Like, is having
Definitely,
the
I think,
support for the
yeah.
small stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Like just having trust in them was the hard part for me at the start because I just almost second guessed everything because I was so used to doing it myself. It was like, like, what? Like, and and I think it's cool because I did appreciate everything that they did for me, and I really appreciate still what they all do for me because it's never goes unnoticed. Just coming back and my back's clean, or coming back and this is done, or oh my plates are done, or whatever. Like everything is always done, and I think I do. Sometimes you're just caught up in the moment and busy, but I always definitely am very grateful for having them in my corner because it does make my life a lot easier, especially when it comes to racing.
But your first race was actually at home. I just remembered it was the national champs and then you had like Nina and a few people. Nina and I think Maureen was down, but she didn't race, and and
then Anna was here as well. Yeah, we had a few. It was pretty stacked field again. It's always sick that everyone comes down to Threadbow, to come and race, and it's like a little mini World Cup to start the year.
But you took the national champ jersey in the first race, which is pretty rad. That's got to be a confident booster.
Yeah, for sure. I think the team were pretty pumped on that for sure, and it was awesome. It was just like good feeling and a good kind of vibe going into the year. For me, I feel like I learned a lot going into the year after that. I don't know. I feel like that was my biggest goal last year, was like win national champ. And I did that, which was unreal, and I was stoked for that. And then, taking the top step overall at Cannonball was like, just a really good day in the office, we'll say. And then going into the year, it was just a bit tricky. Like, I feel like I didn't set myself appropriate goals for the World Cup. So I was really like, we'll just see how it goes. Like, I had no idea because I hadn't raced for so long at World Cup level that it was just like, I don't know, all this unknown. Like, I don't even know where I'm going to fit in, what places I'm going to get. Am I even going to qualify? Like, there's so many questions going on in my head all year that I was like, well, I didn't have any goals, and I don't think that was a good thing because I'm quite a goal-driven person. Like, if I set myself a goal, I'll do everything I can to make sure I achieve it. And if I don't achieve it, that's how it is sometimes, and that's not always in your control. But I will do everything I can to make sure it is achieved, or at least as close as I can to achieving it. And I think that was a problem. Like, I didn't have any goals, so through the year I was just going through the motions and just getting it done, and I don't know, ticking off race after race. And like, I'm stoked on how I went overall. But I definitely feel like coming into this year, I definitely have a lot more goals written out in front of me, what I want to achieve, and I will do everything to make sure I can get as close as I can to achieving them. But I now know where I fit in, and I don't feel so much like a fish out of water over there now.
Is it easy to set goals now you actually know what the format is and how the racing works?
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing. Yeah, for sure. That's the big thing. And just knowing, I don't know, everything about it. Like, gosh, I was even confused about my warm-up, or, I don't know, everything was just so, I don't know, I was so anxious about everything, and I didn't really feel comfortable at all through the year. So I feel now I know what to expect, how to race. I know my little process and what I go through, and Patrick and I are dialed when it comes to racing. So I just feel like I know what needs to be done, and I know I'm a lot more driven maybe this year, for sure. Like, in my head, I'm less distractions and just more focused on what I need to do.
What do you kind of mean with like you weren't comfortable with the racing? Like, it's
I feel like because I just spent so much time at home or in Australia over the last like 4 years before that, I just kind of went over, and for me, I just felt like I didn't belong, even though I did. And it was like one of those things, you're on a team, you deserve to be there. But I just didn't believe it. I was like, I don't belong here. These people are not like, I don't know how I'm here. Like, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm just an imposter right now. Like, I shouldn't be here. And I think I ended up saying it so much to myself that I believed it. And it took me like probably halfway through the year to realize that, like, no, I belong here. I have every right to be here. And I am like, I qualify to be a good rider, and I am a good rider. I just need to fix up here, and then we can get it done on track. But it's just, I don't know. I definitely believe now a lot more of my capability. And I think it's all about your belief in yourself, that kind of transfers to on the bike. And that, like, I feel like I still have a long way to go in that area. And I'm working with a really good psychologist to kind of help me get there. But it's just, it's just a long process, and it's not something that's done overnight. And I'm willing to kind of stick around for the long journey for this one. So I know that every year will be better, and I'll learn more, and it'll just be like a process the whole year.
You can kind of see that through your results as well. Like, you started off well, not slowish, but you're like built.
Yeah,
You got
definitely.
faster throughout the year. It must have been like, was it really just the getting comfortable with the process and kind of
Yeah,
settling
I
your
think
head in?
nothing changed. Honestly, I got more unfit as the year went on. I got
Okay.
not as strong as the year went on, and I don't know, nothing actually got better performance wise, but my head got better. Knew I was more comfortable through the end of the season, even though I was more homesick. Like it was kind of crazy. And I think that's why I'm more excited about this year because I know I'm starting off with a stronger base in my head more than anything. And then yeah, so now I'm like working with a new coach as well. And I feel like I'm like in a good place coming into the year. It's just like last year, what I ended with, like, I feel like snowshoe was a really cool indication of like where I really am. I just need to link it all together. Mont Saint Anne was a tricky one. I guess it was just the last race of the year and I'd gone so far. And it was honestly my first full World Cup season ever.
Mhm.
So I'd made it that far without an injury. I was just like, honestly, I just want to finish it. Like I didn't have that hunger to just like get on the podium or do well. Like I don't know. I just wanted to kind of be healthy to kind of have a good strong off season and get home, be settled, and then come into this year. And that was like honestly, it was just like get through, tick off, and then yeah. As soon as I kind of didn't make finals that day, I made semis, and then I just didn't make finals, and I was like, I was bummed, but I was like, you know what? I'm healthy, and I achieved what I wanted to. I made it through a whole year, no injuries. I was like, I'm pretty proud of that, and I was like, there was a lot of things to overcome mentally, and I did that, and yeah, there's a lot to be proud about. But yeah, as I said, I was just happy to get home and yeah, tick off the year and yeah, come into this year stronger.
How's the whole semi-finals finals thing for you
It
as
was
a racer?
tricky, very tricky. I found I probably didn't do the right amount of training leading into it. It was like really tricky to bring yourself. So you do your practice and then you bring yourself kind of slowly up for your semi-finals and then, you know, you do your warm-up and everything. And it's just like this build. You do your semi-finals and then I struggled because I could always build up to semi-finals, do semi-finals. And then to then kind of come back down and then back up again was so hard for me. I just could not get my head to just like be calm when it needed to be calm and then ramp up. And I just felt so exhausted. But then like that's something that now I understand that. And then now moving into this year, I'm more aware of how to deal with that. And then also I've been doing better training to then assist with that, which is good. So I think that's good. And I've been managing my downtime better and things like that has been good, I think, for learning how to actually be a better racer when it comes to the semi-finals, finals, or however they structure that. That is something that you need to learn how to do. But I just struggled. I think you could see my fitness wasn't there or my strength or mental strength, everything, because it was just like qualies was okay, semi-finals was good, finals was always just like a little bit
Yeah, right.
below my semis. And that was like snowshoe was a big, like it proved that to me hugely. Like I was pretty strong the whole weekend, to be fair. Like I felt pretty good and I was just getting through the track. I was gelling with it really well. And it was just like the qualifying, I was like, wow, I got fifth. I was like, maybe it was a fluke. Whatever. Like, of course that crosses my mind. Then it was like semi-finals. I got fifth again. That's like, what in the world is happening? And then and then I just could not. I feel like I'd almost achieved my goal. That I'd just been like, oh, okay, I'm done now. Like I was just like, and then I was tired. I think I just got tired so quickly last year, and I just think it was just lack of training, and it was the lack of like, I just understanding or knowing everything. So I don't know. I just found it. Or I was always learning constantly throughout the whole year. So then, yeah, I feel like then I got to finals, and it was just like, you know, even my time, the girls just like stepped it up again. Whether I just kind of stayed the same, I was consistent, which is unreal. But I needed to then be able to step that up again, which is possible. But I just didn't kind of do that, I guess. So yeah.
It's got to be hard considering you've spent like your entire racing life preparing for one run and now you've got effectively
Yeah.
3 times as much. Like,
Yeah, it's different. But I think, you know, it's just a little adjustment to your training and, you know, and just knowing in your head what you've got to do. I think that's the biggest part, and just knowing that. And then again, like for me, I realized when my team manager had to speak to me about it at Snowshoe, he was like, you haven't had the opportunity to do your semi-finals and finals. Like some of the girls that are consistently in the semi-finals and finals, they get that practice every World Cup. that was like my second or third time getting to finals. So it was like, oh, okay, I understand, and they've already had that basis of like the year before of like racing. So like they were comfortable coming into the year. So I had so much things to just challenge myself through the whole year. So that was tricky as well. And I know as well, side topic, but even like learning, like I was learning so much the whole year. Like, gosh, even just being on the other side of the world was always a challenge. But even I'd never driven on the other side of the road before, or I'd never driven a manual car before. So it was like all these things. It was ridiculous. I was just like faced with challenge after challenge, and they weren't bad challenges. Honestly, they're great, and I'm so glad I went through it. But last year felt like a lot of firsts, just everything was just a new experience. But then I was like, oh my God, I got to the end of the year, I got home, and I was just like, I'm deflated. Like, I was like, I don't want to learn another thing for at least a few weeks. Like, give me a few weeks of no learning. Because it just felt like I was learning all the time, which is unreal to be in that opportunity and that, like, have that experience. But yeah, I was exhausted.
Day-to-day life when you're in like a foreign country is just like always 3 times more exhausting, at least.
Always. Yeah. I guess you got to source your food. You've got to source your, where you're riding. You got to figure it all out. It's like, at home, where the cutlery is. Where the food is. Where the shops are. Where the fuel station is. And where the trails are. You just go through autopilot, always. And you just do your training. Solid, great. You go overseas and it's like, where's a good hill for intervals? And you're like, where's the supermarket? Like you're always just thinking, So I guess it's kind of good to just have that under my belt from last year and coming into this year a bit more aware of what's happening.
How do you kind of rate your season overall if you kind of, I guess, look back and think about your results and everything?
I'm more proud than I probably let off to be. It was a challenging year, and I won't sugarcoat it. It was so hard. And I feel like I'm really proud of myself for getting through every piece of challenge, like every challenge I was faced or anything. And I got through it all. And I feel like it made me stronger for sure. But overall, I think, the women's field is so stacked now, and it's such tight racing, and it's insane. Like the level is incredible. And to even just like qualify at a World Cup now is beyond amazing. And I didn't let myself be proud of myself enough through the year, that I was so angry at myself all year, or I was just like, that was such a bad effort. And I was always kind of saying to myself, like, oh, that's really rubbish. Like, you've done a really bad job. And like, I was really negative to myself, honestly. And then I looked back and I was like, I literally got a top 10 in the world and I was still angry. Like, am I ever going to be happy? And it was like, okay, Sian, you need to probably just like adjust your goals and be like, qualifying is an unreal thing, and be more, I don't know, just kind of like give yourself a pat on the back when it's needed. Like me getting through to a semi-finals is a huge thing. And it's like, okay, you're getting through to finals. It's insane. Like, just kind of, and I feel like now going into the year, you can't control what everyone else does. Like, I need to be more stoked about my own progression and where I'm at. And sometimes you could lay down an absolute heater and be like, that was like a top 5 run, 100%. And then the girls just go that bit quicker. And you're just like, what the heck? But you should be proud of like your efforts, because you're like, even if I looked back a year ago before that, firstly, I wouldn't have even thought I'd be racing World Cups, but also I'd be like, I wouldn't have even think I'd be able to do some of the features on those tracks. Like some of the things that I was just doing last year, I'd now end up doing just subconsciously. But yet a year ago, a year, 2 before that or whatever, I would have freaked out and not done it. And so you got to realize, like, I've come a long way personally. And, in only like 9 years of riding a mountain bike, so 2015 was my first mountain bike ride. I'm like, gosh, man, like, I've got to like give myself a pat on the back. I'm like, I'm pretty proud of where I'm at in my career right now and having achieved all of that in quite a short period of time, when there's people that have been doing this for years and years and years. So I'm like, I'm proud. And even if I haven't been racing for long, they've been riding for a lot longer. So overall, I'm like really proud of where I'm at. So yeah, I'd say my year was good. As much as I hate to say it, it was a good year. And then, we're always chasing more, us as racers. We're never satisfied. So let's hope this year brings more success.
Well, it's definitely one of those things, right? Like, first, probably should have gone back and listened to our episode, because you were talking about how the mindset was so much different this year.
Definitely.
But like, I was thinking this yesterday, and you kind of touched on then, but the best thing about mountain biking and downhill racing is that you should kind of go by your effort and the amount of work that you put in and how good your run was by you gave it your all instead of what everyone else is kind of doing, and that will change your perspective completely.
It was interesting as well. I feel like I deserved exactly what I got. I don't think I put in enough effort last year to warrant a better result, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if I'd put maybe that little bit of extra work in and tried a bit harder and was really more focused and driven, then I would have achieved a lot more. But I was more worried about everything else rather than my racing. And for me, that was probably a mistake, but also something I've learnt from. So coming into this year, it's like I want to be more focused on what I'm doing, what my job is there, and what I want to achieve, and not really focus so much about external things happening in my life, and more just focused on what's happening right in front of me. And I feel like that will help me a lot because it's always a thing. I remember like my dad telling me years ago, it's like you only get out what you put in, and that's complete facts. Like, it's simple. You put everything into it, you'll get everything out of it.
Is it kind of hard to be selfish and forget about everything else and just focus on yourself?
It is. It has its days. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human. But yeah, I feel like when I'm doing my good training and doing all the right things and just focusing on my downtime and not really worrying about everything and everyone, I actually get in a nice groove with it. Mm-hmm. But then I struggle when then I have people around me. I'm like, oh my gosh, too much. But yeah, I feel like it is challenging, definitely. But yeah, I feel like I try and just find a good balance between, friends, social life, normal life, and then my racing. But for me, at the end of the day, I'm like, I get one chance to make this what I want of it, I guess. So I feel like wasting it away worrying about things that you can do when you're not racing anymore or down the track, for me, it's a no-brainer. I just want to focus on what I need to do. And and I feel like being selfish is hard because any good athlete is selfish, but sometimes I don't feel good about it sometimes if I am being selfish, but at the end of the day, you've got to worry about yourself because, if you don't, it's just, the other people are going to be more selfish and get better results because they're more driven doing what they want to do. So you've just got to find a balance, I feel, with the right people around you, have your close circle around you to be there for you, and you have that time with those people. Like, I've got a great bunch of friends, and then other than that, it's just like that's my little circle, my family, and I'm happy.
I think it's going to be cool watching you with your new teammate, the young up-and-comer Vali Hoel.
I wouldn't say up-and-comer. She's killing it. Girl is on fire. She is insane. Oh, watching her ride a bike is just insane.
But she's been through the same thing, right? Like, she had to forget what everyone was saying. Like, her first 2 years in elite were majority because of what comments said and what everyone else was saying, like, got into her head. And now she's... I
feel like she's in a really good place now mentally. And she just, like, honestly, I've definitely noticed being on the team with her, like, Valli does her thing and she's happy. Like, she just does what she wants to do. And I really respect that because that's something that I probably didn't do enough of just doing what works for me and just do it. And like, she just makes it work. And I feel like that's really cool because, it's really hard to do. Like, I respect it a lot because it's so much easier to just, we'll just feel like going with whatever everyone else is doing. And now I'm going into this year, like, doing what I need to do. Simple. And so I feel like it's really cool having her on the team because I know we both, I guess we both kind of work very similar, I would say. Like, we both want to get in our training. We like our downtime. We love chilling. Like, we love food, like all the little things. It's nice. So it's cool. Like, just definitely having her on board, and I know. And for me, it's like being able to learn from her, or kind of be a bit of a sponge and just soak up, how she works. And it's really cool because she's definitely like huge inspiration. And like again, watching her ride a bike is incredible.
She gets more stylish every year. Like, when you guys did that release video, it was ridiculous. I thought it was Ocean, like, riding, and I realized it was her.
She's insane. Oh, it's so cool.
What is the new team vibe kind of like with her coming on, and then Ocean won a few like last year and stuff? Like, is it all still the same vibe?
I'd say very similar vibe for sure. I feel like I think the more time you spend together as a team, it will only make it better. Like, you can't just become family overnight. So it's really cool that we have had the opportunity to spend some time in Australia and New Zealand, kind of understanding how everyone works. Because I feel like, you can't just get thrown into a race with a brand new team and be like, all right, we're doing this. And it's like good now. And I know how Valli works a bit better. So it's like I can respect her space a bit more and vice versa. And like same, well, I already knew O'Sheen and O'Sheen knew me. So it's simple, but I feel like it's good. And then same with just the team dynamics. Everyone understands how everyone works, what space they might need, and just in general. So then I think it's just a bit nicer coming into the races. We're all like, okay, we're going to do what we need to do. And we all have, at the races, we all have a job to do. So it only makes it easier because there's not much free time. You're all just doing what you need to do. And it's more kind of like a little well-oiled machine, I guess. You just do what you need to do. And everyone has their space and their job. And yeah, we just get that done. So it's good. And yeah, I feel like it's cool. Good vibes in general, always.
Will you be kind of sharing lines and doing practice together and stuff like that?
I feel like I'd like to for sure, but I feel like that's definitely up to Valli. Like at the end of the day, she's there to get a job done and she's racing her own race. So I respect if she does or doesn't want to. I feel like I'll just kind of gauge that when we get to the races. Yeah, like I've got enough friends around me that I can do a lot with them. It just depends how she feels about things. So, and I feel like that's not something we'll be able to know until we both get at the races and how we both feel. But I feel like that's just something we can work with together. And, I feel like the whole team has a really open, kind of honest policy, which is really good. Like if anyone has a problem with someone, they speak up, we talk about it, we get on past it. And like that hasn't really happened, but it's good that we've had that conversation to be like, okay, we're just open and honest. And I feel like that's really special because, for instance, just being able to, I know I had some like one-on-one conversations with Valli and it was just like, what do we both want out of each other? What do we want out of the year? And I feel like that's good to know because then we can only work better together. Otherwise, you don't want to step on each other's toes the whole year or not understand how to react on each other based on results, because for me, a result that might be amazing for me would be a disappointment for her. And I understand that we're at different like levels in the sport right now. So it's like kind of good to just understand what we both want and then be like, okay, this is how we're going to work. And I think that's really good. And yeah, I feel like we can only both make each other better and happier. So yeah, it'd be cool if we can work more together.
And then obviously having the enduro team still around as well is going to be pretty rad.
Oh, for sure. Man, just having like Jack and Texie and Casper around, like I love those guys. And I spent a lot of time with them last year. And yeah, I just feel like it's so sick. You spend so much time with people, you don't even realize how close you've gotten or how much they are just family. And yeah, I really feel that with those guys. And yeah, like definitely having Valli on the team, that's something that will grow and it will be amazing. But yeah, it's just like right now it's so sick. Like like seeing O'Sheen again this year, it was just like no time had passed. It was sick. And like Jack, Texie, Casper, all of them, like, they're just unreal people. And like we have a really good team, honestly, and great people. Like everyone in the team is just such a genuine, like down to earth human. So that's really cool.
You've got one huge addition, which I think is a game changer to everyone, and is your mum doing the cooking and everything for you guys this year?
Stop. She's unreal. Like I think everyone was actually really pumped to have her. And yeah, like even at Threadbow when she was cooking for us, I think everyone was so stoked. Like firstly, she cooks up a mean feed. Oh man, that girl's cooking is good. So yeah, that was unreal. And yeah, like just I feel like she's just like the mum in the team, and we kind of were missing that maybe. And she's cool. Like she doesn't treat me much like her daughter. Like there was no special treatment. Like she kind of treats us all equally. And that's cool because I don't want it to feel like my mum's on the team. I feel like, and I had that conversation with her before it all happened because, my team manager asked me, it was like, oh, are you okay with this? And I was like, let me think about this first because I was like, man, like bringing your mum on board, like, I'm lucky I have such a great relationship with her, but I was a little nervous about it. And then, yeah, like straight away we had a good chat about it, mum and I was like, just told her exactly how I was feeling about it. And she was like, yep, all right. And then I spoke to my brother because she'd actually cooked for my brother's team last year.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I was like, Kai, how is she? Like, what does she like to work with? But yeah, he had nothing but great things to say. And I was like, man, I trust that. And yeah, and she proved that like at Threadbow straight away. She was just like professional in the right ways, like has a joke with us all, like fits right in with everything that's going on. And I feel like she brought a really good energy into the team. Like it was pretty cool to see, even just like the day before, how we were all kind of acting, and then the day she came, how much different the energy was in the room. And I feel like it was really cool. And yeah, I think bringing that into the year for us is going to be definitely a good thing for everyone.
So we're going to see Kai sneaking in for a few feeds.
No, he's not allowed. He's not allowed. Not at all. No, not even. He's not even allowed the scraps. No.
No, that's so good. It's cool to see like having family members and stuff around to help you guys out. And yeah,
I think for me as well, like being so far away from home, it's just going to make a big difference having a piece of home with me the whole year, and just that comfort, like someone I can just talk to. Or man, sometimes you just need a big mum hug, and I need those regularly. So yeah, it'd be nice to just have one of those, and just having her to just chat to. And I feel like she's there for everyone on the team. You know, if anyone needs a chat, she's there. And yeah, I feel like we'll all kind of figure out that dynamic pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be sick. And then you've got the new prototype wetsuit as well.
Yeah, we're running the wetsuit.
So it's I'm
loving the bike.
You specialised in Kenya and all running the same prototype wetsuit by the looks of it.
Yeah, no, it's a new thing, the wetsuit. Get on it, guys. No, I honestly the new bike's unreal. I'm really gelling with it, and it definitely suits me a lot. And I'm so happy, honestly.
Is this the first time you've tested with like a new bike and been a part of the development?
Honestly, the
process?
first time, well, the first time I've ever tested, like full stop. I honestly did my first lot of testing this year. Last year we did, testing, but for me it was just getting used to the new stuff I had to run. That was like, you can't test when you have no idea what you're running. And for me, it was sick to actually just have an opportunity to test and actually have some time, timing some stuff and working better with Patrick and being like, okay, what do we want to achieve here? What works for me? And we did some times, and it was just cool to have that opportunity. And and I feel like, you're only learning all the time when it comes to your bike. And I feel like I've come a long way with my bike setup, and it feels like it just gels with me now a lot more. And especially this new bike, like last year, the bike, I felt like it gelled with me, but I was always working against it quite a lot. But this year it just feels like it's just the right fit. I've really achieved what I was trying to achieve last year on the bike this year with the new bike. So that for me is a big tick.
You've already had a win. Oh, you got second. A cannonball
0.7 off the win. So that was a tight one. It was sick. Like, gosh, Nina and I have a cool little thing going. Like, I respect her so much. She's such a great person and such a good athlete. She's just a good time. And she came to the bottom of the track when she'd finished a race run. She was like, I wanted to win that so bad. And I was like, yes, girl. And she said, I came into the woods and I was like, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. And she's like, I gave that everything. I had nothing left to give. And I was like, good, because neither did I. So I was like, we both laid down a pretty fair run, and it was sick.
And you got to, place over Miriam, Nicole, which is
which is incredible. Honestly, a dream come true to stand on a podium with them too. Like gosh, little Sean would have been kicking herself with that, if I said that was going to happen. Incredible. So cool.
It's pretty rad. It's pretty amazing to see. What are your kind of goals and stuff for this year coming ahead?
Gosh, my biggest goal is to be on a World Cup podium. I really want to make that happen. Gosh, that would just be a dream come true. But for me, it's just like kind of build on last year and be as consistent as possible. I really want to just make the finals, as many World Cups as I can, if not all of them, and just be just more consistent. Last year it was kind of, I saw this kind of like graph of me just like getting better and better, but it was like, if I looked at my overall, it wasn't the best. It was just like in the top 20, which I'm like, but my results weren't as they were consistent 100%. I was always just there, right? Mm-hmm. And I just missed out by a little bit every time. But it was just one of those things that adds up when you just miss out all the time. So I really want to just try and be in that top 10 all the time, which is just like, it's achievable. It's just like, I just have to pull my finger out and just make it happen. So let's hope that can go right this year. But at the end of the day, I just want to keep progressing and kind of just be a better racer overall. And just, if I just tick off all the little things that I need to do in a weekend, then I can be happy and satisfied that I gave it everything regardless of the outcome. So I feel like that's where my goal lies, is just like do what I need to do everything right, and then outcome is the outcome, and not be so worried about the outcome too much. That'll take care of itself, whether it is what I want or what I don't want. But yeah, overall, that's where we're at.
And you're just doing all the World Cups again this year?
Yeah, pretty much. I just it's so hard to just add more into your season when you're already trying to do everything. And yeah, there's always the room for a few more events here and there. But for me, I just want to do what I need to do. Like even just doing small local races and stuff are always a bit tricky. You're just racing all year then for us. So I just really want to focus on what I want to do and just do those races. I might do like the US Open or something when it works or something like that. But that's about it really. But yeah, the World Cups are my priority. And yeah, I really definitely, I knew they were my priority when I made the decision not to race national champs. Because yeah, it was just like one of those things, like, gosh, giving up my title was not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it was just like my goals have shifted compared to the previous years. And it was like what I wanted out of the year was more important to me than winning another national title. And, I'd won a few and I was really satisfied with that. And of course I want to keep winning more and more, but it's just like the timing of the race. And then I had a slight injury at the time, and it was just like, nothing was adding up, and I didn't feel right about racing it. And it was just like, if I pushed my hand and my hand felt worse, then I'd be in that position where I'd be like coming into the year with a sore hand rather than being healthy coming into the World Cup. And it just was a no-brainer. I was like, that's what I need to do. And yeah, it was hard watching and hard not being there, but hard not racing. But yeah, it was just definitely one of those things I think were the right decision for my year ahead.
It's not a track you want to come off of or risk anything on. That was brutal.
Yeah. No, I was like, if the risk is high, and I was just like, if I injure myself more or hit my hand again, or it was just too much of a risk coming into only it was 6 weeks until the first World Cup at that weekend. I was like, wow, I cannot risk that. So it's just about, building on where I'm at now, and yeah, being nice and fit and strong and feeling good on the bike, and then coming into the World Cup with a happy head is pretty important.
Yeah, that's right. When are you heading off?
I'm going to head back to New Zealand, to Queenstown next week, because I need some riding time. I missed out on riding because I was injured and I was sick when my team and I were all there. So I was just kind of hanging out and just going for walks and some fitness rides and stuff. But yeah, so I booked myself a trip, go back, bulk bike time for a week and a half, home for 7 days. And then, April 20th, I head off to the World Cups. So yeah, it's all coming up so fast. Insane. At the start, end of last year, I was like, such a big off season, all good. It's just we're here now.
What's the deal with everyone from the World Cup being in Queenstown?
It's a place to be, apparently. I've never actually ridden there, so we'll catch up next year and I'll let you know. But yeah, I think it's I don't know. From what I saw, it's incredible. Just good bike time and some good weather, and it's I feel like coming to the Southern Hemisphere is so good for those Euros and everyone, because you just get more riding in and it's not as cold, and yeah, you get that kind of summer lifestyle for a whole year, which is pretty unreal. But yeah, everyone seems to go there, so yeah, good trails from what I've seen.
Sick. Might start wrapping things up a bit. What advice would you have to any junior ladies that want to get onto the World Cup this year? I think it's the third, fourth time we've asked this one for you. So see if it's changed.
Well, I would say overall, in general, just any advice I would say is just take your time with things. Don't rush it. I actually, funny enough, Tracy Hannah gave me that piece of advice when I first started, and it didn't make sense to me at the start. And I was like, what does she mean? Don't rush it. I was like, I'm not rushing it. I was rushing it. And now I look back and I'm like, gosh, you have such a long career ahead of you, especially when you're young. Gosh, I was only juniors when I started. And some of these girls are already under 15s and under 17s, and they're just smoking and they're going so fast. But I think it's just take your time. Don't rush the sport. Don't rush the outcome. Don't rush anything. Just enjoy riding your bike and just kind of take it as it comes, I guess. That'd be, definitely one piece of advice. And overall, just keep the stoke there, have fun, because I know I lose track of why I started riding in the first place and why I have fun doing it. And it's so easy to get caught up in results or everything. But then, you have an afternoon, like, gosh, my first ride back after my small injury recently. I had the best day on my bike, like with a few of my best friends. We just went out, made a cutting track, and just had the best time. And honestly, I was like laughing and smiling and just like, I was like, man, this is why I ride bikes. Like, that's why. That's all. Like, I love racing, but that's why I ride bikes. And like, kind of try and keep the fun no matter where you are or what you're doing. So that's probably the biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, every time. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy seeing how many pinners are in the junior women's field this year for Australia.
Like, they're going to smoke me very soon.
Yeah.
Scary. No, they're incredible. I'm like, yeah, it's so cool to see it. I feel like being a part of the growth in women's mountain biking, especially in Australia, is really cool. And I feel so happy to be, like someone that they can look up to and kind of showing them, paving the way for them. And that's, I know a lot of people have come up to me and said that over recent months and just been like, you should be so stoked. Like, you're literally the reason they're all killing it. So it's like, they're watching what I'm doing and they're inspired by that. And then they're going and doing it better, like that's how it goes. And that's, like, gosh, I can't wait to see what the next few years hold until they beat me. And then I'll be like, but overall, no, I'm really pumped. It's so cool for them, like just in general. I think it's so cool to see, and like more and more girls are getting involved and becoming a normal thing, not such a big deal to even talk about it these days. Like, just like, oh yeah, another chick doing that. Like, that's what I mean. And that's when things are going good. So
exactly. Last question we'll go for is, obviously had some tough times this year. What was kind of motivating, or how did you kind of get the motivation to kind of get out of those times, or, get up and train when you probably just wanted to be back at home with your dog?
Yeah. For me, probably just the fact that I had so many people behind me supporting me. Like, I was so easy to give up, but at the end of the day, you're not just giving up on you, you're giving up on a whole team behind you. And even if I wasn't with my team, like my parents would have been supporting me, or my friends, or my family, or sponsors, or whoever. They are putting everything into you doing this. That it's like, you're not just letting down yourself, you're letting down everyone. So for me, it was like, just keep your head up, be who you are, do what you need to do, and just try and enjoy it. And I don't know, it's like definitely like one of those things that, never as easy as what it seems on the gram, but it was, challenging for my own self. But I'm stoked that I had great people around me to help me get through it, but also kind of give me a kick in the butt when I needed it.
Sick. Rad. Is there anyone you want to thank, or is there anything I've kind of missed for this episode?
I just want to thank everyone, everyone. Gosh, I had the most amazing people around me, like my team, obviously, my parents, my family, and all my sponsors, but also like deeper than that, just like the whole mountain bike community. Like, any place I go, like Threadbow, Stromlo, like any local places around me, I go and there's so many people going, oh, great, good luck for your season. Like, I feel like I have everyone behind me, like not just my people in my corner, like just generally everyone just feels like, I feel like I have support in all areas. Like, oh, we're so excited to be watching you. Like, good luck. And I just feel like I get that everywhere I go now. And I like, that's so cool and so special. Gosh, like, even like when little kids just know who I am, or say like, oh, hi Sean, like that still like rocks me. I'm like, what? Like, little Sean would have just been like, no way these people know who I am. Like, so that's like still so special for me. So I just like, I'm stoked that like people can approach me and people can say good luck and like wish me luck. And that just kind of makes me realize like how many people are behind me. So for me, that's a big motivation coming into the year. It's like not just my fam and my team behind me, it's everyone. So very excited.
That's so sick. I can't think of a better note to end on. So
oh, I'm pumped. Thanks for having me, for sure.
No, thank you. Have a great year. I look forward to seeing you up on that podium. And
thank you so much. I might do a shoey on the podium if I get on there, eh?
There's no might. There's just do. So
I will. It's an Aussie thing. It's an Aussie tradition. Must do.
Yeah. No, definitely 100%. Easy.
Thanks, legend.
Take it easy, and we'll speak soon.
Fabulous. See you, legend.
See you. Bye. There you go. That was our quick little catch up with Sian to talk about her 2023 season and see what's going on for 24. Thanks so much to all our supporters, Trek, Frank Mountain Bike Apparel, Shred, Bike Care, Fist Handwear, Lead Out Sports, Cumped Out Caps, and Oakley. Just remember that with Frank, Shred, and Fist, if you use Beyond the Tape at the checkout, you get 10 to 20% off of any of the kit you desire. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you want to help out this podcast, make sure you share it around to everyone, your mum, your nana, your brother, your friends, your dog, whoever, and share the love. Anyway, next one should be a good one as well. So go follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, or on whatever podcast platform you're using. And until next one, have a bunch of fun.